What is up, guys? It is Mitchell D, and I've been playing Etheria Restart non-stop for the last, what has it been, 3 days, 4 days? I think I'm 4 days in now. I'm 1 day behind everybody else because I started late, but oh my goodness, this is the best gacha, like, honeymoon phase of a game I have played in so long. I am hard addicted. It is amazing in every way. The PvE is fun, the PvP is fun. Everything feels so good about this game. Now, if you're watching this video, that means you're either already playing, trying to decide on what you're going to summon on your target summon, or you are just about to get into the game. So one of the things that I am known for in my YouTube channel is going to be making new player guides for games. I actually have another Raid Shadow Legends channel that I do the same thing on, but this channel has been mainly Epic 7 for the life of it. Epic 7 is very similar to Etheria Restart, like almost identical. They took a lot of the good things from Epic 7. They took some of the good stuff from Summoner's War. They actually have some of the stuff from Raid Shadow Legends, even all of the PvP gacha games that are big on the market. They said, hey, we like your games. We're going to take the cool stuff from it. We're going to make our own game that may end up potentially being better than all of them combined. We'll see. So it's hard to compete with Raid Shadow Legends PvE. It's hard to compete with Epic 7's PvP. Both those are the kings, in my opinion. Those two games, those are two main games I play right now. But this one has definitely now made its way in. Okay, so let's go into the target summon. With the target summon, you are going to be able to pick one character that is not a light or dark character. So you see here all these top 6. I have all the characters from the light and dark faction. I actually just got them today, which is sick. Super excited about that. But one of the things I was bringing up earlier, the reason I'm talking about the other new player guides, is I'm going to be doing the same thing for Etheria Restart. The goal is to have the first episode of that up tomorrow. And then if you guys want to play along with that guide, maybe you're a little bit ahead of it, but you can watch through and see some things I talk about, then that'd be great. I played multiple betas of this game. There's still a lot of stuff I don't know, though. I'm going to be completely honest as a content creator. I'm going to be completely honest. Normally, I just lie all the time, but I'm going to be as honest as possible that I don't know everything. I will straight up just say it up front. I have a very good understanding in comparison to other people who are getting into it brand new, but there's going to be some stuff I mess up on. So that's why I'm kind of hesitant on making guides. I don't want to end up steering anyone the wrong way. So that's why I wait a little bit before I started making the new player guide. But now with the target banner, let's get back into that. I know I'm talking in circles, but the target summon banner. Whenever you start the game, you're going to go in and you will have these banners here, and you'll have a target summon banner. That target summon banner will stay, I believe, forever on your account if it doesn't have a timer down here. If it has a timer down here, it might not stay. I actually need to make a new account to see how long it is, but I'm pretty sure it stays for minimum 2 weeks. Now, with that, you can pick any of the characters that we're about to go over. I'm going to pull up a tier list picture, and then you can pick that character, and in 40 summons you will get that character. So it's half of a general pity, and you get to pick who you get, and you could end up getting them sooner on it, which is fantastic. So target banner is very important, but you should not rip your target banner right away. You are going to get a lot of free resources when you get into this game. When you first come in, my biggest suggestion is summon on the permanent banner for around 2. Okay, so your first pity on permanent banner, I believe, is always going to be in 30 summons. You are going to get one character in 30 summons. I could be wrong on that, but from my understanding, everybody gets their first one within 30. I think you could check probabilities and go to rules and see how many it says on there. A normal pity is 80, but the first one is reduced. Now, from there, I think it's pretty safe to try to do 2 more pities or try to get at least 3 SSR characters. Once you get those 3 SSR characters, especially if you're free to play, then you may want to start saving and you can start looking into doing the other banner. But I think, I don't know how many summons you actually end up getting. Something I'm going to have to test, and I will revisit this video in the future. But I know a lot of you guys were waiting on my opinion on this, so trying to get it out there. Now, this banner is worth summoning on potentially after you do your target summon and your first couple permanent summon whatever pities, or up to pity. Hopefully you don't pity, that'd be great, but try to get at least 3 characters on the permanent summon. Now, with the permanent summon, you actually can get Freya on here. That's why I do not suggest summoning straight on Freya. She's a fantastic character, but I actually personally got my Freya from the permanent summon, so I'm super glad I waited to summon on the Freya banner before doing anything else. Okay, so now going into that, you do have the ability to reroll. If you reroll, I can do a reroll, or I am going to do a reroll video going over my top picks for a reroll. That will be probably the next video and the first part of the new player guide that I'll be making, similar to my Epic 7 new player guides. But we're going to go ahead, and now that you know 3 pities at least, or 3 SSR characters from permanent banner before you move into the target banner. Going in now, let's look at the little thing that I have. There's a bunch of ads on the screen and stuff because it's tierlistmaker.com. But my top picks for this are going to be Kloss. Kloss is super good in all challenge content. She's an AoE decreased defense as well as turn meter pushback. She is a staple support character that you can bring in so much content of the game. That is who I personally picked from my selector, and I do not regret it, and there hasn't been a moment I've regretted it. She is an absolute powerhouse support character. Now, if I were to pick a different character, my second pick would be Romocha. Romocha gives you the ability to clear the dungeon Doki Doki, which is going to be a speed set dungeon, and a couple other sets, and she makes it unbelievably easy in comparison to having any other character in the game. So these 2 characters, top 2 picks easily. Now, if I have to add 1/3 character to this, my personal take is Rosa. She has a crit chance buff for your team, which is absolutely amazing. Yes, you do start with a character named Gray. He has basically the same kit and an AoE decreased defense, but Rosa being blue as well as having the just the ability to give crit rate up, that means you have 2 different crit rate boosters to use on different element teams, and that is very, very big value. So those are the top 3 characters in my opinion. Now the funny thing is, every character in this game is good. As you go through, I kept seeing people say X character's bad, X character's bad. Now that I'm getting to some of the higher level challenge content, guys, every character in this game has a place, and it's awesome. This is like the best balancing I've ever seen of a game coming out and every character being good. Normally you have a couple of characters that are just terrible and you're never going to use them anywhere. That's not the case. So Chloris, this is a character that was really bad in the betas. He's used for some of the fastest, one of the dungeon teams for farming. He's used on one of the fastest teams for that. He does insane damage and he has an extinction to prevent enemies from reviving, which can be used in PvE. There's some bosses that revive, so he has a lot of viability within that. Next up, Lilith. I think she's one of the worst characters personally. I've tried to use her in the betas. She can be used in the same Doki Doki team as I was talking about Romocha for gear farming. She has some controls. She can stun. She does some okay damage. But overall, I feel like she's just outclassed in a lot of ways. You would use other characters before using her, but that is my opinion. But she is still potentially good in PvP and for a couple of the different PvE dungeons within the game. Now, next up we have Beonten. She gives crit damage buff and attack buff. Very good Soul Weaver, and she gives turn meter pushback or push up for one of your teammates, and she revives, and she just passively revives, which is super cool. Whenever you use your skill 3, you get a stack on her, and then if one of your allies is dead at the end of her turn while she has that stack, she'll revive them. It's super annoying, and she is going to be very useful in setting up one-shot teams, and she's going to be very useful in PvP for super tanky, bulky teams, because when she revives them with a percentage of the character's HP. So if you revive somebody who has 40 to 70,000 HP, they're reviving with 35,000 HP. She is going to be a staple for bulk down teams. Next up, we have Borg, one of the few characters in the game that has a strip on their skill 3 that's a damage dealer. So a lot of the other characters that have a strip on their skill 3, meaning a ability that removes a buff from the opponent, are all just support characters and don't do damage. The only other one that is a damage dealer that I can think of is Heinrich. Heinrich is the best in that slot, but he's a Moonlight 5. So Borg gives you that option, but he's also a character that can't crit. So he is mostly just a PvP powerhouse, but I'm pretty confident there's going to end up being some fire stages where he is super useful because the enemy will start with some kind of buff that you need to strip off before you start applying your debuffs and doing insane damage. So he's awesome, but again, he can't crit. He has a heal on his skill 1, and the more attack you build on him, he gets extra HP for. So he's just a general really good bruiser style character. which means a character that has a good survivability and can output decent damage at the same time. Next up, Rahu, a great PvP character. He gives defense buff to your team, so he can be good for PvE as well and keeping your teams alive. I don't suggest using him for Doki Doki, which is the water dungeon again that I've been talking about, because he doesn't provide enough, but he's an RNG character as well. Whenever you attack with any of your units, he has a 25% chance, up to 30, I believe, chance to dual attack with them. So that he's really good for PvP. He's one of my favorite characters in the game. Actually, I use him in every beta, and I've won a lot of PvP matches with him. Next up, we have Tsukio Mi. She has a skill reset. So whenever you use all your character's skill 3s, which are their strongest skills, she will have the ability to reset those skills from her skill 2. Then her skill 3 is going to be a full push-up for one of your teammates. She is a super good support style character. She's blue, so she fits a role that there aren't too many blue supports that I would say are too good right now. And she can be used to keep your team alive with one of the pets that gives additional shield depending on her defense, because she's a defense scaling character. Next up, we have Veronica. Veronica she got nerfed, then buffed again. I don't know her current standing. I have an idea. She's still really strong. She gives ability Soul Ward to your team, to where your team basically has immortality for a turn. They cannot die. They get dropped to 1 HP, but can't die from there. Very, very good skill. And she has an ability that does 12% of her max HP as damage, and you can put a crit damage multiplier on that. So she still hits like a truck. It used to be 20% though, and they did drop it, but her overall kit's still fantastic. Very good PvP character, and can be potentially useful in PvE at the same time. Now we have Mia. This is one of the new characters that added to the game. I have been using her everywhere. Whenever I first, before I got her, I saw people saying, oh, Mia feels lackluster. Her skill 3 takes too long to cool down. I agree on that. I think her skill 3 does take too long. She's a character to get the max value. You need to skill up the skill 3 to get it on cooldown. And if you do that, it'll still be kind of slow. But her skill 3 reduces your debuff duration by 1 turn, which is a cleanse. So she gets rid of debuffs on your team. She extends your buffs. So if you have attack buff or any of these other buffs, it's going to give you an extra turn of whatever that buff is. If you have speed buff on your team, it extends that. And then it's also going to heal your team a lot. And also, you have pets in this game. It'll reset your pet skill. So a lot of pet skills are on 3-turn cooldowns, and before they rip, some are on 2 turns. If you have multiple skill reset characters like this on your team, your pets will proc every single turn. And it's a wild experience. I'll just say I have every turn reset character, and I use them in the same team for certain things, and my pets are just going crazy the whole time. Next up, we have Tiamat, a PvP powerhouse, and she can also cheese a lot of PvE teams. There's a combination with Tiamat, with with regular Sanya. This is a 4-star character, basically a 5-star character. She has a revive, she has a passive heal at the end of each of her turns, and a passive cleanse. Sanya is insane. And when she uses her skill 3, she actually increases the max HP of whoever she uses her skill on up to 3 different times. I do not know the percentage number, but you build Tiamat with 70,000 HP, boost her up 3 different times to where she has 100 and a billion HP, and you can cheese through a lot of the PvE stages with that, because Tiamat can heal herself. It's a really wild combo, and there's people that are beating certain stages of the hard content, and their runs, you can see the run is 30 minutes long, is how long they took to beat it, while other people are beating it in 2 or 3 minutes. But there is some really funny cheese combos that you can do with her, and she is another powerhouse in PvP. Next up, we have Zyda. Zyda is a AoE defense breaker, so that already has a lot of value, and she's blue, so that is fantastic. So Rosa and Zyda basically combine to make a gray, which is one of the characters you start with, because he gives decreased defense on the entire enemy team, as well as crit rate buff. But these 2 characters do differently, but they both do insanely good damage, whereas Gray doesn't do the best of damage. But she is a fantastic character as well. As she gets buffed, she resets her skill 3 as well, so you can constantly be putting AoE decreased defense on the opponent, and her being blue adds a lot of value to her as well. Then we have Hellkid. Hellkid has a skill 3 that puts up a barrier to your team to help you stay alive, but it's a special barrier that as long as it's up, you cannot take debuffs, so it's like having immunity. Very, very strong. Then a skill 2 has a decreased attack to help keep your team alive. So if you put decreased attack on, you have this fat barrier that the opponent's attacking you, then your barrier never gets broken because they can't do enough damage. He is very useful in a lot of team setups in case of debuffs are going to be coming in. You could build him fast, have him put up his buff. The debuffs would come in turn 1, he blocks them all, and the barrier goes away, but you are buff debuffless. I guess what I'm trying to say. And then lastly, we have Silence. This character I've always thought was absolutely terrible, and I see the value now. I was today that I found it. So she was going to be the lowest on the tier list. I think this character with very high investment can be a PvP unit for one. You just the base Silence, don't know how great she'll be in there, but for PvE, she's the only character I know of in the game that has a skill that makes it to where opponents' passives do not activate. This is critical for some of the challenge stages, because in the challenge stages, you are fighting the characters in the game with their actual skill kit. So, for example, Rahu, how I was saying, has a chance to dual attack with teammates at a percentage chance. If you use Silence's skill 3, it puts the debuff on them to where their passives don't do anything. So you never have to worry about it. And there are a couple of characters that you have to fight are Fungus, and he has a chance to dual attack in some of the hard content, as well as there's a bunch of other characters. The Sanya character, her passive heals at the end of every turn. It will block that, and that is huge. It's a good way to deal with her. And there's a few other characters as well that it just completely shuts down. And then she gives barrier to your team, a massive barrier that it's another different kind of special barrier than the one we just talked about, but it reflects damage that comes in, and the barrier doesn't take the full amount of damage. So that barrier stays up for a very long time. That's why I was saying it takes investment into her, because you get a multiplier for each skill up you do, and it is hard to skill up characters. So I don't see people utilizing her for a very long time, except for just clearing those special stages that she'll just make way easier. Now the other character that you can get is going to be Ling Lao, but you get her for free on the 7th day. She is the best healer. She puts up true immunity to your team, and both her skill 2 and skill 3 are going to cleanse 2 different debuffs. She's the best cleanser in the game, and she's the only character that actually puts up a consistent immunity that doesn't feel bad to use. So she is basically the character needed to make all the rest of these challenge floors and things that you only have to beat one time actually attainable to beat, because without her, it's a disaster. But on day 7, you will get her, so getting her from the selector does not make any sense. Now, the rest of these characters here are the ML5s, or characters that you cannot get. Ho Yan will be added to the game soon. I believe she'll be completely reworked from the beta. She was in the beta, but she wasn't very usable in the set because she just didn't do enough damage. She has a really cool kit. And then Freya is on limited banner when you start, so she is not available in the target summon, but she is available in the permanent banner. You may end up pulling her. But that is all the characters. Rest are light dark 5s, and those cannot be selected. Those are the rarest characters in the game, and hopefully you get some of those, because they are all incredibly strong as well. So that is the list. Isn't it crazy? A gacha game where none of the 5-star characters are bad. Every single one has multiple use cases within its own respective right, because there's so many game modes in this game. All the different PV versions plus the different PvP versions. So guys, I'm addicted. Let me know if you're enjoying this game, if maybe you just started, or come back to this video later and tell me what your thoughts are, if maybe you just started and you're checking out which one you should pick. Again, my my thought process is summing 3 characters minimum from the permanent banner, and then look at are you ready for the target summon, or you can just hold off for a long time. So one thing is there is going to be a selector. It's not a selector, but it's a guaranteed SSR ticket that you get on day 14. So the reason that you wait on doing this banner, by the way, I should have said this at the beginning, the target summon, is because you don't want to get something from target summon and then start summoning on the permanent banner and pull a duplicate. Duplicates in this game are fantastic, but nowhere near the value of having 2 separate characters. You never want to pull for dupes if you could pull for more characters, because when every character is good, the wider your roster, the more fun you're going to have, and the easier time you're going to have clearing different stages. So that's all I have for this video. Thank you guys for watching. I will have the first part of that beginner guide series up. I don't know how many parts it's going to end up being, but that's going to be really fun. It's going to give me a second account to play, because my main account is out of resources because I've spent all the stamina. But this is the most fun I've had, guys. Atheria Restart, 1000% worth playing. Even if you just try it for a day or two just to see what you think. It's sucking people in within a day, though. People are like, I saw a bunch of comments on Twitch. I've been streaming every day on Twitch. They're like, I didn't want to like this game, and now I've been playing it nonstop since it came out. We haven't seen a game like this a long time, this PvP gacha. So try to take advantage of it, get in early, so your account's super strong in the future. But thanks for watching Deity, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace out.